So the last thing we want to talk about is, I mean, the Reddit crowd, man, it's a force, right? It's a massive force. Bed Bath & Beyond came out. We saw Bed Bath & Beyond, and this was a stock that was very, very low. I mean, even if you look at 6 months ago, or you look at the year chart, this thing was below 10. Then it flew all the way to like in the 50s, and it's so fun when I look at 52-week range between 7 and 53, and it's now 30, but it's up like 12%. I think it was up early. It was up a lot more than that.
It was up almost 30% earlier. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They reported earnings better than, well, actually earnings per share missed a little bit, but they were profitable. They had some good growth numbers, but the big takeaway here is there's around, give or take, 20% of the stock short. And of course, that's an easy recipe right now in the current environment.
It didn't matter what they reported, what the earnings were. It didn't matter.
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say
they missed.
As long as they're but they missed by a few penny. They were still profitable. I was actually shocked by that. I was expecting them. I was impressed by that. I think they reported 3 cents earnings instead of 8, so they were missed by 5. But hell, I was still impressed with that. Anyway, like you said, the big one there is short interest.
And Bed Bath &
the retail
Beyond,
crowd just grabs that and just rolls with it. It's great.
I mean,
and they're here to stay, Frank, right? Why would the individual investor leave all of a sudden? There's no reason to.
No, there's no reason to.
You can still push stuff around. You can still control volatility in certain areas. I use the word control loosely. That's probably not the best term, but you can still cause massive short squeezes. Everything that was going on during the GameStop and all that kind of stuff is still prevalent. You still have hedges in place on a lot of people. It's an ego-driven thing. You don't think people are going to look at the fundamentals of Bed Bath & Beyond and short it somehow? And again, through puts and your conversation with Ginia, you can do that in a risk-adjusted way. Hell, who cares if you're short if you know how much you're going to lose? Yeah, it sucks to lose.
It sucks to lose, but you know how much
you can still cause short squeezes. You can still use options that cause, melt-ups and melt-downs and all that kind of stuff. So overall, that's great. The retail investor shouldn't leave. I'm glad to see more of it, and I don't mind that. I don't agree or care that there's an argument out there that, the stock market is a casino. It's no more of a casino today than it was 10 years ago. There's just more money and more people involved in it. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm bringing up a chart of Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond is, they include in Reddit, but it's actually, it's a legit company. Is it expensive? It's a little expensive. But when we look at other things, and I have the chart up here, if you guys are on a Curzio Research YouTube page, you can follow along. I mean, you look at GameStop. I mean, GameStop's insane. I mean, this company doesn't have a business model. They just announced they're going to get into NFTs like 2 months ago, and that market's dead. I mean, what's the next market they're going to get into, right? They're trying to partner with I think, getting into, cryptocurrencies and what a trading opportunity, whatever it is, But it's, what's next for them? $15 billion market cap, and it's a company, again, going through these numbers here, $5 billion in sales, but just massive losses piled up, and then. You have AMC, which AMC is actually awesome. And this is a company that's at 56, $28 billion market cap. So, Dan, when I look at AMC, I just want to put this in perspective for you guys. So, in 2018, that's where we had record box office receipts, right? Sales. They hit a record pretty close to $12 billion. AMC finished that year with a market cap of $1.8 billion. This year, we have box office receipt at $1 billion. Maybe it gets to $2, $3, $4 billion. The theater's starting to open up. The industry's making a comeback. AMC's market cap is $28 billion. I mean, based on the numbers, you would have to see box office sales based on the 2018 valuation go up a factor of 14. So, it's incredible. It's incredible when you look at it where, the market cap of this company, even that the executives are like, it doesn't represent the fundamentals or whatever, but you got to hand it to the Reddit crowd, man. You don't want to mess with them because, the more you tell them no, it's like, your daughter bringing home the guy that you don't like, and you're trying to say, obviously, I'm not talking about my personal situation at all. Hopefully this never happens to me, my 2 daughters. But she brings home the guy you don't like, and you say, I don't want him to see him anymore. She's going to marry him, right? So, you got to be very, 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 very careful. Because the more you talk bad about this crowd, the more you talk, bad about how, we have an analyst out there that says AMC, the target price is still $1, right? So, the more they make you look bad, and it's pretty crazy. But, there's a lot of cool things that we're going to start tracking, guys, in terms of, algorithms, tracking the amount of posts on Reddit and Wall Street Bets and stuff like that, because you could determine, a lot of the stocks they're talking about, you could see what they're talking about, and a lot of that leads to more and more and more posts, and you can almost see it. Like like Cleveland Cliffs was on that list like probably about 4 or 5 days before it really took off. You see a lot of stocks on that list that just surprise you, and next thing you know, the whole Reddit crowd is really getting behind it because Daniel, I mean, they almost put Melvin Capital out of business. They needed Capital Infusion, which is a $12 billion firm. But these guys get behind one of your stocks, or you're in one of those stocks. Holy cow, you can get like 4, 5, 7,000% gains pretty quickly. I'm not going to sit here and say, dismiss it. I'm an analyst and fundamentals, man. You look at technicals, whatever. The bottom line is you're watching stocks go up thousands of percent. And from my point of view, you need to find out a formula of why that's happening and how you can get ahead of it, right? That's what you want to do. And that might be one way, and we're going to probably add that feature to Dollar Stock Club in the future, which I'm excited about. But man, this Reddit crowd is pretty nuts, Daniel. Huh?
Yeah, it is. And overall, I think it's good. I mean, listen, if you ever see skeptics or people venting about how Wall Street is a casino or silly and all that, that's not individuals. That's because of the Fed and the liquidity and the money printing and all that. So don't confuse reality. Don't blame reality on something, on just one ingredient, especially when it's not a large ingredient. But, look for things that are an easy screen would be to look at something that has a tailwind. Cleveland Cliffs is perfect because it had a higher short interest, I believe, and they're in the steel. And steel is going through the roof with infrastructure and things like that coming down the pipe, or at least anticipated, and raw material costs are going higher. So that was a great kind of 1-2 punch there. And I think it's a little bit off its highs, but man, it's hard to imagine materials like steel not continuing to higher or at least stay elevated, which are going to be good for companies as they report earnings.